Hey guys, welcome back to League Talk. Let's talk some basketball. But before we jump into the video, I just want to ask you guys to give me a subscription, a like, and a comment below. It's going to help me out a lot in the algorithm. And if you want to help this channel grow, that would be amazing and it'll help me out a lot. But aside from that, let's jump into this video. The NBA has a scoring problem because in the last week alone, since Monday, we've had 4 players score over 50, 2 at 60 and 2 at 70. Monday night, Joel Embiid scored 70 points, right? It kind of came out of nowhere, but Joel Embiid is the type of player to do that, to score 70 plus points. He's one of the few players in the NBA that could do that. But that very same night, Karl Anthony Towns, while playing against the Hornets, he scored 62 points and could have scored 70 points had he not been benched with 2 minutes left, right? And so those 2 scoring performances are incredible, okay? Like, it's nothing we haven't seen before. In fact, last year we saw Donavan Mitchell score 70 plus points, and there was another player that scored 70 points. I can't quite put my finger on it, but two players last year scored 70 points. Fast forward to just a couple days ago. Today is Saturday, so I think it was 2 days ago. Luka Doncic scored 73 points in a win, but then that very same night, like on Monday, Devin Booker scored 62 points. So in my eyes, the NBA has a scoring problem because as time goes on, right? Frequency, the amount of players that are scoring 50 points, 60 points. Like James Harden used to score 60 points like it was his day job, right? Like, it's insane. And 50 points now isn't that much of a big deal. I can't even count how many times players have done it in the season prior and this season combined. They're scoring 50 points like there's no tomorrow. LeBron had 2 50-point games in 2022. I can't even count the amount of players that have scored 50 points this season and last season on one hand. So it's becoming almost a joke, right? And 60 points is becoming a norm now. And a lot of people are under the impression that the NBA is becoming soft and there's no defense. For example, Paul Pierce tweeted, he said, "Oh, I miss when the NBA used to have defense." And actually funny, someone replied to him and said, "Didn't Kobe score 81 points in your era?" But I digress. A lot of people have the same impression that he has, that, oh, no one's playing defense. That's how everyone else is able to score these 50-point games and 60 points and 70 points and so on and so forth. But that's not the case. What's actually happening is the amount of talent in the NBA is bottlenecking, right? The amount of talent in the NBA has skyrocketed so much in the last 20 years. Ever since the NBA has started to go global and look for talent actually elsewhere, not just in the United States, but in Europe, right? The 2 players that scored 70 plus points were international, right? Looking for talent in Africa, talent from Australia. Going global in the last 20 some odd years has allowed the NBA to actually gain talent like never before. And what's happening is these players, that talent pool is so concentrated, right? That it's becoming easy now for player here to score 70 points, player there to score 50 points, because it's that much talent. It's not that defense isn't being played. Defense is being played. It just can't hold up to the amount of talent that these guys have. Like Luka Doncic said, it's easier to score in the NBA than it is in Europe, right? Joe, I wouldn't be surprised if next week Nikola Jokic scored 60 points, right? I wouldn't be surprised in the next following week if somebody dropped 50 points. It's just the talent is too concentrated in these markets that the way to solve this problem is to actually expand the NBA. It's to expand the NBA and have expansion drafts so you can kind of spread out that talent. And actually, the NBA had this problem once in the past. The NBA had this problem, I think it was in the 80s, in which the average points per game, the average scoring per game was at almost a record high. It was, I think, 118 points per game that teams would score on defenses. And the NBA had to solve this because people were under the impression no one's playing defense. Oh, it's a open way. It's just a free way to the basket. But that's actually not the case. And so what the NBA did was they added a couple expansion teams. And when they added those expansion teams, right, they had expansion drafts, and they kind of gutted that talent. And now instead of having like a player like Devin Booker with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, because mind you, Bradley Beal can also score 50 points. Kevin Durant can also score 50 points. Devin Booker can score 50 points. Instead of having players like that on one team, it's now spread out, right? Now there's a team in Seattle, in Vegas, and Vancouver, and it becomes harder for players to score 50 points because it's harder now for you to score that much points while also being effective on defense, while also being effective on playing team basketball. Because it's kind of easy to score 50 points when you know Kevin Durant's back there blocking everything. It's kind of easy to play 50 points when it score 70 points when you know you just got a bunch of guys that are super talented and are going to be able to play extremely well defense, so you can just really focus on offense, right? And so that is the solution to solving this problem of nightly 50-point games, 60-point games. It's not defense. Defense isn't going to do anything, right? Defense is there. It's at an all-time high, right? It just doesn't matter because these guys, they're just on another level of talent. And we've seen this problem with the NBA before, and the NBA knows how to solve it. Add expansion teams, have expansion drafts, spread out the talent so that when a talent is spread it out, more traditional basketball is played and the scoring is lowered. The scoring will be lowered and teams will be able to just play normal kind of basketball, and you'll have that and scoring will come back to where it was. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on the phenomenon that's happening where everyone seems to be having a 50-point, 60-point game like it's their day job, like it's easy, like it's their day job, like it's just what they do. But yeah, those are my thoughts, guys. If you like this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Why do you think these players are scoring exorbitant amount of points? I'd love to hear that, and see you next time.